Hello, friends. Just got done listening to a nice little video from Marshall Arm, Urgent 2012 Elections Non-Compliance Violence. And he brought up some very interesting points that I'd like to go over. And first off, I agree with you, man. We have to do some action. And if we look at history, obviously the violent people have gotten farther than the nonviolent people. I'd like to use the example here in America of the civil rights uh, movement. Most people don't know this, but that it's very good for the elite for them to have controlled opposition. Martin Luther King is a perfect example. He was infiltrated by COINTELPRO, and he was kind of controlled opposition, and that's one of the reasons why when after he obtained his victory in the civil rights arena, um, he thought that he could go on and go do great things with the Vietnam War, but can't do that. That's why they killed Malcolm X too, because he was the militant. He was the one that gave the speech, the bullet or the ballot. And so obviously the militant um, revolutionaries get farther than the pacifist uh, ones. Now, the elite usually align with the pacifists because they're the moderates. They're the ones that they can work with, and they're the ones that they can um, influence into doing what they want to do. And that's, of course, the it's corruption, it's betrayal. And this is a common theme throughout humanity. So it shouldn't really be too much, you know, a surprise to us. But the thing is that we have to do civil disobedience, and that's another thing that they did do during that time period. It was very common for men to get together with their draft cards and go burn them. And this was an act of violence to the state because the men had divorced themselves from the obligation of going and fighting the state's unjust war. And this was very powerful, and it was met with violence by the state. Kent State, where the guardsmen shot into the students, and this was justifiable because of the threat of violence. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to incite us into rioting because they're going to win. They have the blank check. They have all the weapons. They pay the salaries of the soldiers and police to pull the triggers on those weapons. So they've obviously got an advantage. So the question is, what do we do with our petrol? Do we put it in the gas tank and go to work? Do we put it in a glass bottle and create a Molotov cocktail? Or do we just simply put that gasoline into our chainsaws and go cut firewood? I mean, these are all possible decisions that we could make when we decentralize the decision process, because that's what they want us to do. They want us to capitulate and go vote for their vanilla or chocolate choice. Well, screw that. I want strawberry. Or, I want Neapolitan. I want all three. But that isn't provided for us. We're given this illusionary choice between the left and right, and that's all we have. when there's a lot of stuff in between, and actually the candidates running for president, there's no difference between them. So, and I think it's awesome, dude, that you stumbled and you didn't know Romney's name. It's not even worth the waste of the brain cells. But and the reason that violence is so powerful is fear. Violence creates fear. We see somebody being brutalized. We don't want to be brutalized. It creates fear, and that resists, or that resists us from making action, from changing. So we have to be strong. We have to overcome that fear, and we have to do things that they don't want. For example, they're saying that more than likely the collapse is going to happen over a long period of time. We keep waiting for some kind of great event, some kind of cataclysm that's going to affect us all. Well, actually, they're happening every day, but they're little ones. There are earthquakes. There's volcanoes going off. There's meteorites falling out of the sky. And surely enough, the crescendo is going to get to the point where we're all going to be affected, no doubt. And so in this uncertainty, because the elite, they want to create this they know this chaotic situation is coming, and they don't expect anybody to be prepared for it. And many people have been preparing for it. So that in itself is disobedience, because we're supposed to be asleep, we're not supposed to be aware, and we are. So that in itself is civil disobedience. And when we see laws and things that are going on around us, we must be disobedient. And we can't just tolerate this stuff anymore. I mean, we don't have to get violent, but we can't go along with the ride. And when they're telling us to get on the truck to go to the FEMA camp, we definitely have to say no. Anyway, awesome video. Keep them coming, man. I like it.